shifted in the air, conversations faltered, fans stilled, and every practiced smile turned toward him. Eleanor barely noticed. She was studying the pattern in the marble floor, tracing the years of wear that told stories of other nights, other dreams. The Duke paused just inside the doors. He had endured 1,000 such rooms, 1,000 rehearsed glances and calculated admirers. Tonight promised no difference, until his gaze caught on something unexpectedly quiet. Amid the blaze of color stood a woman who did not angle herself toward him, did not flutter or lean or laugh too loudly. She stood as though the evening belonged to her whether anyone agreed or not. The simplicity of her gown did not diminish her, it framed her, like a pause in a sentence that demanded to be read. Eleanor felt it then, the unmistakable prickle of being watched. She lifted her eyes and met his. For a breath, the world narrowed. His expression was not the cool appraisal she had learned to endure but something searching, almost startled. She looked away at once, cheeks warming, chastising herself for imagining meaning where there could be none. The orchestra began a new set, a lively piece that sent couples to the floor. Eleanor stepped back farther into the shadows, prepared to remain invisible until the hour grew late enough for her to slip away. She reminded herself why she was here, duty, not delight. Her aunt had insisted she attend, had brushed her hair and murmured that one never knew what fate might offer. Eleanor had smiled politely, knowing fate rarely glanced her way. Across the room, the Duke found himself unmoving while others approached him, their practiced charms sliding off his attention. He answered them with courtesy, but his eyes returned, again and again, to the woman in gray. There was something resolute in her stillness, something honest. He realized, with a faint astonishment, that he wanted to know her thoughts more than he wanted their admiration. Eleanor turned as someone brushed past her, nearly colliding with a footman. She murmured an apology, and nearly collided with the Duke of Ashcombe himself. She froze. He bowed, a gesture so precise and respectful it startled her more than his nearness. "Forgive me," he said, voice low, unassuming. "I did not mean to startle you." "You didn't," she replied, though her heart disagreed. She curtsied, suddenly aware of every plain seam of her gown. "I am Ashcombe," he said, as if she could not possibly know. "May I ask your name?" "Eleanor Hartwell," she answered. "I am only visiting." "Only," he repeated, with a hint of a smile. "Would you care to walk? The music is rather loud." She hesitated, certain he had mistaken her for someone else, someone worthy. But his hand, extended not as command but invitation, waited patiently. The room seemed to hold its breath. Eleanor placed her hand in his, and felt, for the first time that night, as though the floor beneath her feet had shifted, not toward danger, but possibility. And as they crossed the room together, whispers rose behind them, unnoticed by the woman in the plain gown who did not yet know how closely fate had drawn near.